Hi everybody, this is Barbara Drazga with Deal Diva Wholesale, and tonight we're going to talk about some myths about wholesale sourcing. And I have a list of some myths of things that I've heard people say to me in client sessions or in posts that I've seen on Facebook, and I just wanted to address some of them. And if you have more that I haven't thought of or heard of, go ahead and post them in the chat and I will answer them. And when you get a chance, go over to dealdivawholesale.com, and I have a lot of videos and articles up there, everything having to do with wholesale sourcing and selling on Amazon and negotiating with suppliers and finding fanatical niche markets. And you'll find a lot of content on dealdivawholesale.com. So let's just get started. Make sure we're recording here. Awesome. Okay, so one of the myths in wholesale sourcing, and don't wait for me to pause. Go ahead and put your questions in the chat, and I will get to them in between my little list. So there's some myths with wholesale sourcing. Let's just start out. First, that you need a warehouse, and that is absolutely not the case. So I have done everything from rent storage units to use my garage. One of the entire room of my house is a prep area and a receiving area. I actually rented a house specifically with a split level layout so that part of it could have a flow of incoming and outgoing products. And then I moved up to larger shipments, and those solutions didn't work as well. So last summer, I had my first large shipment come in. It was just 3 pallets. I mean, in comparison, it's not huge compared to what a lot of people are doing, but I had just started wholesale sourcing last year, So I had 3 pallets come in and delivered to my house, and it was set to rain. And I was hoping to actually tear into the pallets in the driveway, prep things, get them in boxes using kind of the garage was half full, didn't have enough room in it. So I was going to get it done all in one day, right? Well, then I looked at the weather, and it was being delivered on Thursday afternoon, and the weather said it was going to start raining that evening. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I am just fried here. What am I going to do? The truck is showing up, yeah? So I ran up to the corner budget store, and I negotiated $15 a day for a truck, and I rented it for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And when the semi-truck showed up, they had a lift gate on it. So we just backed up our trucks. You know, my little budget truck was like this high, and his semi was here. And he had a lift gate that he's lowered down and just rolled the pallets onto that rental truck, right? It cost me $50, $55 with tax, to rent that truck, to have a solution, to have that kind of a mobile prep center in my driveway for the weekend. So while it was raining, I could prep inside that truck. Now I've graduated to prep centers. And not only, I don't use just one prep center, I use multiple prep centers, depending on how close the prep center is to what supplier that I'm ordering things from for that shipment. And also how close they are in proximity to an Amazon fulfillment center. So I can reduce my shipping costs on either end of the transaction, okay? So I do occasionally still get pallets, but what I've started doing with the suppliers that I've been working with and have a relationship with, and actually have developed friendships with a lot of the salespeople that I buy from, they will now, 3 of my suppliers will now allow me to send them my labels, my box labels, create my shipment, send them labels, and they'll put them on the outside of the box. And they'll send my shipments directly into Amazon for me, and then I use Amazon's 20 cents per item to label my products. So there are all sorts of solutions to not having a warehouse. You don't need a warehouse in order to source wholesale. In fact, I would never, it's not my goal to have a giant warehouse because I don't want that overhead, and I don't want to increase the expenses that I have. I would rather just outsource it, pay to have it outsourced and done, and focus on what I should learn to do really well. And I suggest for you too, learn how to find great products, how to find small to mid-size brand owners, manufacturers, and how to negotiate and develop relationships and communicate with those manufacturers to get the best deal and to provide the most value to them. So that was a long answer to, do I need a warehouse? No, you don't. But there are lots of solutions. Just get creative. So you need local staff. That kind of comes down to the warehouse. So you don't really need, if you're not handling product, which is your ultimate goal, I think, is to not handle any product, you don't need local staff. However, if you choose, like I did have a small shipment, a little quarter of a pallet show up of a specific product last Monday, And because I'm bundling it with something else, and I hire the neighbors across the street, have twin girls, they're 13, I am their first job, and they get to learn from a female entrepreneur, and we practice setting up systems, and I let them set up the systems so they get an education, and I pay them to put together these bundles. So in some instances, I still do take in a little bit of product, but only in rare cases. So the local staff, I don't have to have a full-time staff person. I don't have to have a full-time prepper. I just outsource when I need it. So can anybody think of any other questions about myths, things you've heard about sourcing wholesale to sell on Amazon that you'd like cleared up? Go ahead and put that in the chat. So another question, Amazon is too saturated. There's too many sellers. The Wholesale Formula gentlemen have done an amazing job putting together this course and putting a lot of students in that course, which means there's too much competition selling wholesale, and I beg to differ. I don't know if you guys read the numbers from Prime Day and just how many Prime subscribers Amazon has, and they've actually created a new program to put lower income families into a different level of Prime, so that's bumped up their numbers. They won't share their exact numbers, but it's ginormous, the amount of Prime members there are. So in comparison to how many of us there are sourcing wholesale, it's just the opportunity is absolutely phenomenal to sell on Amazon, and it's not saturated. It would take a lot of growth for there to be too many sellers going after wholesale accounts. There are so many small brands and so many medium brands that I say go after. Don't try to negotiate with Procter & Gamble or Nike, please, not Nike, or any other large brand, right? You want to go after, because you can provide the most value and help the smaller and medium brands better than you can the large brands. Okay, brand owners won't sell to me. That's something else someone said to me. Because I'm too small and, they won't sell. Why would they sell little old me? Well, you just have to, first of all, that's a fallacy. Of course they'll sell to you, because if you understand their perspective is to move product and to protect their brand while they're moving product, if you help them with your value proposition, do both of those things, then they would be thrilled to sell to you. Okay, another fallacy is that you need lots of capital. Now, yeah, it is a numbers game. So the more product you move, the more product you can source and move, the fastest, the more you can turn your money back into and leverage that up, right? So it's all about compounding income. So you don't need $100,000 or 50 or 10 or $5,000 to start. It's great to have a nice little, $5,000, a great starting point. But if you just have a few $100s today, or maybe you can scrape together $1,000 I have made orders, it's just sample orders, as small as $150, $200, $250. Now, you won't be able to scale up as quickly as if you had a larger amount of capital up front. And I don't want you to take food out of your family's mouth to work on building a wholesale business. You can keep doing what you're doing to build up as long as you're moving your money back into your business. But the fallacy is that it takes tens of thousands of dollars to get started in wholesale, and that's not true. You can start on a smaller scale. You just have to make sure that you're diligent in feeding that money back into your business. So it looks like we've got a question. Let me switch over here to the questions before I keep going. Richard asks, do you look for actual manufacturers only or distributors and brand owners as well and equally? I look for brand owners, which are basically the manufacturers of their own products. So I steer clear of distributors. First of all, there's so much opportunity. I have so many brands I could approach that I don't need to go through distributors, nor do I want to, because one of my goals with my brand owners is to get a letter of authorization from them to make sure that I am authorized by that manufacturer of that product, the brand owner, to sell their product on Amazon. So if for some reason that brand gets restricted on Amazon, I have that letter right there in the invoices saying, hey, look, I'm approved. So I don't have to backtrack with invoices from a distributor that usually Amazon won't accept. So I just go straight to the brand owners / manufacturer of a product. I hope that answers your question, Richard. Okay, another myth about sourcing wholesale is why don't these brands sell directly to Amazon themselves? Well, actually, talking about one of the companies that I represent their brand, they don't want to do anything other than design, manufacture, and import their product and sell it in massive quantities. They don't want to have a retail channel. They're a small company. They have limited staff. They don't want to build out in a different direction. They're really good at what they do, which is building their brand and building their retail presence around their brand by selling through people like us. So that's why a lot of brand owners, smaller especially, they don't want to sell direct to Amazon. They want qualified Amazon third-party sellers like us who can bring value, who understand the platform. And we know how to keep their listing clean, optimize their listing. And by the way, you don't need to know how to do that yourself. You can hire people to do that as part of your value proposition. But no, a lot of small and medium-sized brands it's not on their to-do list to sell directly to Amazon. That's why we can help them build their brand on Amazon. That's why there's an opportunity for us. So go ahead and keep asking questions in the chat. As we go along, I'll come back over here. Susan asks, let's see, did I miss anybody here? Must you be and will they agree to make you sole Amazon seller? The supplier I just mentioned, I have an exclusive relationship with them, and they're thrilled that they have an exclusive relationship with me because they don't have to police Amazon. So I own the listings, and they don't sell the products, and I don't have all of their products on Amazon. Okay, there are only a handful of their products that I've locked down exclusivity for those products, so they don't sell those products to other Amazon sellers. And that's just about negotiating and building relationships and understanding what questions to ask suppliers, what questions to ask brand owners in order to get them to share with you what their pain points are so that you can bring to them a value proposition that helps them solve their problems. And once you start building that relationship, they want to rely on someone that they can trust. So it's not about approaching a supplier with the mindset of how can I manipulate them to get them to sell to me. I think that is you're shooting yourself in the foot. It is a scarcity mentality. The way that I believe you should approach suppliers is from a sense of giving, okay, having an abundance mentality, saying, look, this is what I do. I would love to help you build your business. What are some of the issues you're having with protecting your brand on Amazon? And let me take a look at your listings. Let me make some suggestions. Let me find out what we can do to help you improve your brand and sell more of your product through us. So it's really about the manner in which you approach a brand owner that makes the difference in whether or not they want to work with you, short-term or long-term. So I hope that answers your question, Richard. Susan asked, Barbara, do you know of any wholesalers that will sell to me if I don't have a state tax number? Susan and everybody else. So so a brand owner is not going to sell direct to the public, all right? So they require that you prove to them that you are a reseller, you are a real business. Otherwise, anybody could go to Procter & Gamble and order shampoo off their website, right? That's not how it works. So if you take your business seriously, which I highly recommend you should, not look at your Amazon business as a hobby. This is not a hobby. You need to commit. You need to have a regular schedule and a training schedule and an implementation schedule, projects that you're working on to help you reach your income goals. You must treat your Amazon business as a business, not a hobby, which means you absolutely need to have a state reseller number. You have to have a state resale number in order to be approved to purchase product wholesale from a brand owner. So I'm sorry, Susan, that might not be the answer you were looking for, but it's really not that hard. You can just usually go on the website of whatever state you're in and apply for it online and have it. Well, in Arizona, it took me all of about 10 minutes to get mine. So she goes on to ask, I will be moving out of Florida in another month. Yes, I believe you and I talked about this on Facebook. I don't want to get another tax certificate here. Do you think it's best to wait until we move? So Susan, I appreciate you asking these questions, and I truly want to help you. And I believe that this question is best asked of your accountant, right? You should ask your accountant how to structure your business and take care of your taxes. I am not a tax professional. I do not give tax advice. So you absolutely need to ask a question like that to your accountant. Okay, so moving on. Another fallacy is the margins are too low. So if you're used to doing retail arbitrage and online arbitrage, you know, back in the day, I had a minivan. I have a minivan. I tore the seats out. I hooked up an enclosed trailer, and I would just go store to store to store to store to store, fill everything up, open up the trailer, and fall out. I'd prep it. I'd pack it, right? And the margins were fabulous, right? Or could be fabulous until something happened, or it didn't sell, or too many people jumped on, right? But in general, the margins were really awesome. And then last year hit. And the wake-up call for me was I had purchased a bunch of Pokemon toys. And this was before I started the Wholesale Formula course in August. These Pokemon toys came in beginning of July. I think that was what kicked me into enrolling in the course. This pallet shows up, and when I had originally ordered them, I was approved to sell these toys on Amazon. And then the pallet came in, and I rescanned, and it said, restricted. You are not approved to sell this product on Amazon. And I had a panic attack. I'm standing in my garage with this pallet of toys that I thought that I would be able to sell on Amazon. That was the beginning of Amazon's brand restrictions. It turned out that I waited a couple of weeks, and I had bought them through a discounter, through a liquidator. So I didn't buy directly from the company. So I couldn't get ungated in that brand because I didn't have the invoices, right? So I waited a couple of weeks, I think it was like 3 weeks, and I scanned one of the toys again just out of giggles, and suddenly there was no brand restriction. So I quickly got everything in there. They sold out really fast. I got lucky, but that was the writing on the wall for me. That scare right there was what made me join the Wholesale Formula team and get into the course and start learning how to do it right. Because up until then, I was buying a ton of liquidation and just basically playing Russian roulette with my sourcing. But I didn't know it at the time, right? So the brand restrictions have now ramped up, and that's a good thing for Amazon. That's a good thing for their customers, and that's a good thing for third-party sellers, believe it or not, because there will be less scammers, right? Less people coming on and, on a $40 product, they're coming in with 8, 9, 10 new accounts for, $3 and just completely messing with the system. So Amazon had to do something to protect specifically their customers, but the outcome is also protects us. So it makes us, it's not the wild, wild west anymore on Amazon, in my opinion. So the question was that the margins are too low. Well, maybe they could be lower in wholesale, but you're moving more volume and you have significantly less risk. And the goal, and you source replenishable products. So once you find your stable of products and keep adding to that stable of products, and then have your sources for those products, it's just a matter of looking at the numbers and developing a reorder strategy so that when you reach a certain number in your inventory, based on what the velocity is for you getting the buy box and for the monthly sales of that products, you just reorder and it just moves, it just keeps flowing through. You don't have to drive from store to store to store to find the same product that did well a month ago and now you can't get it anymore. So the margin might be lower, but you're able to replenish inventory with a whole lot less work and move much higher volume of it. So you have to look at all the numbers. Okay, let me go back to the chat here. So, Susan, thank you, Susan. Nobody else has any questions in the chat yet. Go ahead and ask me anything about wholesale in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer it. So another fallacy, another myth is that suppliers require a large MOQ. Now, MOQ stands for minimum order quantity. So that could be the case. There might be some suppliers that require a large MOQ, and I simply don't work with them, right? Or I negotiate. They might say that their MOQ is a certain amount, but then I'll use some tactics that I use to bring them down on the MOQ in order to place a test order, for example. So I might say something like, okay, I understand that you want me to order 1,000 units, but this is an untested product for us. We really want to work with you long term. We'd like to order, 100 units for this month to test it out. And when that works for us, then we can talk about ordering significant quantity because we'll know that product works for us. So you can at least leverage, if you have smaller capital, leverage negotiation tactics with these suppliers into a smaller MOQ. But it's been my experience that most suppliers that I've approached are happy to sell me. They might have like a case pack MOQ with 24 units, right? But I haven't run into anything with significantly larger MOQs that I couldn't negotiate them down on the MOQ. So again, that's another myth, that all suppliers are going to require a huge minimum order quantity. Okay, we have another question. Brent. Okay. Let's see. Brent says last year was just mean. He's commenting on the brand restrictions. Boy, I'm pretty sure that sales of aspirin and Excedrin went up for Amazon sellers because it was just a nightmare. It was a headache when those brand restrictions came down. I'm guessing that's what you're talking about. Goodbye, awesome profits. Yeah, because once I don't want to use the term RA is dead because I'm not into alarming statements like that. I just know that what I want to build for myself, and I hope that you do too, is a sustainable business. This isn't a hobby. I don't want to own a job because I may as well just go work for somebody else and not have all the risk, right? I want a business that's going to produce income for me, whether or not I'm on vacation or I've gotten injured or I want to go try something else or learn something or go on a retreat or spend time with my family or whatever. Whatever your dreams are for yourself, wouldn't it be cool to have a business that runs and is sustainable no matter where you are? And I can be on a cruise with my laptop and place orders via email. And you can even get to the point where it's just automated, where when your threshold hits a certain amount of quantities in stock, then an email goes out to the supplier, orders it up, which sends it to the prep center, which ends up in Amazon, and you do nothing. So you can get to that point. And the wholesale formula teaches these guys I believe in learning from people who are way ahead of the curve, and these guys are ahead on the curve. They're doing things that I'm not doing yet. I have processes in my business. I have some systems in place, and I have some things outsourced, but I keep going back into that course. I've been in it a year, and we have lifetime access to it. So I keep going back in and looking at the modules that I wasn't ready for when I first signed up. When I first enrolled, I needed to learn how to source better. I did. I needed to learn to have a better numbers criteria, and really understand how to look at a listing and know if it's one I should say yes or no on. And I wasn't as clear on that as I should have been. I admit it. A lot of what I was doing was just kind of a shotgun approach, and I got lucky. Some of it worked. A lot of it worked. And then some of it didn't work, and I ended up with a garage full of, crap. Junk, not junk, but stuff that I have to now find a way to get rid of because I didn't look in the right place. I didn't start my research on Amazon. I didn't start my research with the market that I was selling it on. So does anybody have any other questions here in the chat? Richard, how you doing? Do you work primarily with products that already have listings on Amazon, or do you prefer to create a listing from scratch? Richard, the model we're talking about is all about starting on Amazon, finding products that have a certain amount of sales volume, a certain number of competition on it, and a certain number of profit on it. So the wholesale model is all about finding existing products on Amazon, finding the contact information and contacting those brand owners to get an account set up, and then negotiating your best prices with those brand owners. So the wholesale formula has absolutely nothing to do with creating your own listings or creating a bundles. Now I do some of that. I'm moving into private label as well. I create bundles because that works for me. And the information that I learned about identifying products on Amazon for wholesale, I am now able to apply that exact same skill set to finding great private label products. So I've leveraged the information I learned from the wholesale formula and Dan and Eric into building out some of my own private label products so I can own my own brand. And you don't have to go there. You don't have to go private label. I just like a challenge, and I kind of want to have my own brand. You know, I think it'd be kind of cool. Maybe it's a little bit of an ego exercise. It's a challenge. It's something that I haven't done, and I don't know how to do it, and I like learning new things, and I like traveling. So I went to China for 12 days in April, So I could go to 6 trade shows and visit some factories and kind of learn the entire value chain from factory all the way to Amazon, right? And that's just something that I wanted to do. You don't have to. Once you set up systems in a wholesale-based sourcing business, then it frees you up to do whatever your little heart desires. Whether you want to, you can go buy a business and fix it up and resell it and flip it. You can start a YouTube channel and talk about how to grow peas. Whatever you want to do. My challenge for myself is just kind of move a little bit into growing. Not a little bit. I want to grow my own brand. I'm not sure exactly what that's going to look like yet, but I'll keep you. If you go to dealdivawholesale.com, I'm sure I'm going to start posting articles and videos as I learn things. I'll share it with you guys. But for now, we're talking about sourcing wholesale products that are already successfully selling for a certain amount of margin on Amazon. And that's what the Wholesale Formula teaches. And you guys know I'm a student of the Wholesale Formula. I'm also an affiliate. You guys know I have some bonuses. You can go to dealdivawholesale.com/TWF bonus. In fact, until somebody types another question in the chat for me, while I'm waiting for another question, I'll just show you real quick what I'm offering. There are a lot of great affiliates out there, great people who are promoting the course, who have some really awesome offers as well. I can just show you mine. So all of my bonuses are completely focused on wholesale. We're not talking about merch. We're not talking about create space. We're not talking about anything outside. We're not doing OA, RA, nothing. We're going to hyper focus on getting your wholesale sourcing locked down, in place, implemented, outsourced, and all of my bonuses are created in order to enhance your experience with the TWF course. So you'll see that I've broken down my bonuses into different categories. So first you're going to get, on Friday, we're going to do a Jumpstart webinar. So I have some tricks that I use to ramp up my learning, to learn strategically and learn and implement faster. And I'll share those on Friday to help you get started so you can get the most out of the TWF course when you get your enrollment login. And then next we're going to, you'll get some bonuses on how to systematize and outsource. The biggie is prep services from my fulfillment team. Now you also get prep service discount when you register for TWF, even if you don't register through my link. It comes with the TWF course through PCP, but I have several prep companies that I use depending on where the supplier is. So you can have multiple prep companies. I negotiated a discount with my buddy John Bullard Sr. over at my fulfillment team for 65 cents an item, any volume. So you'll have access to that discount when you register through my link. I'm also going to create a website for you and get you discounted web hosting, but you won't have to go into Wix or figure out WordPress or anything. All you'll do is answer a quick questionnaire for me. I'll have my developer put up a done-for-you website under your company name. You'll have to register a URL, and I can show you how to do that too. And then we'll even set up a couple of email addresses on that domain so that when you contact these suppliers, you look professional. They see you as a serious company who wants to source from them, not somebody with an AOL or a Gmail email address. Okay, so we're going to talk about how to automate. I've got a lot of live webinars that I'm going to do throughout your course, how to automate the heck out of your sourcing. I've got some written processes that you can hand to your VA that'll help you with your product research and your supplier communication. I recommend that you get into the course and learn how to do the product research yourself, so that you can make sure that you know that your business is on track, and make sure that your VAs are doing what you need them to do. I'll share with you my email templates, product research bonuses. I've got now there are a lot of CSV file scanning services out there, and if you don't know what that means when you approach a supplier, you can ask them for their entire catalog in a CSV format, and then run that against the Amazon's catalog using any number of services out there. One of them is Price Checker 2, another one is Technical Arbitrage. They're all monthly based subscriptions, right? Where eventually you're going to have to pay a monthly fee to get access to them. But I've negotiated with one of the creators of Indible.com, and it's a pay-as-you-go service. So you can scan with no monthly subscription ever, and I negotiated an extra discount so you get even more credits in your account. So when you get a file of 10,000, 20,000 products, You can just pay for those credits, and it's really inexpensive, and run them through. And then, when you're ready to run another file, you pay as you go. You'll get my videos on how to find financial next markets, how to evaluate product ideas, how to find products and suppliers. We're going to do a live walkthrough webinar where I walk you through how I implement what I learned in the wholesale formula on how to find, and it's going to be live, not recorded. Anything can happen. And we'll just kind of do you watch it over my shoulder how I implemented it. Using auctions, I find some really cool product ideas to search for on Amazon by going to auctions. You don't have to go to auctions, live auctions, but I'll show you some auction sites that you can go to, because I find products that I never would have thought existed. And that'll give me a starting point on Amazon to look for some products, that I might be able to source in that niche that I'd never heard of. A lot of people the next category is supplier research and communication bonuses. So believe it or not, I'm an introvert. I'm not very good in large groups of people. I stumble over my tongue. It's embarrassing. So what we're going to, and I know it's hard to pick up the phone. I don't like talking on the phone that much. To pick up the phone and talk to a stranger is just nerve-wracking. So we're just going to do a vendor role play. We're going to have a practice webinar where we have some fun and we practice our offering our value propositions. And I'll play the vendor, you can play the vendor, and we'll just kind of increase our comfort zone on communicating with vendors. And then how to work a trade show video. I'm pretty good at working trade shows. I'm going to ASD in a couple of days, and I'll show you the best way to leverage working a trade show when, there are a lot of newbies out there who walk into a booth, start scanning things, and start asking really aggressive questions. And I've actually seen somebody get thrown out of a booth for doing that. I'll teach you how to approach a supplier the right way. I've got phone scripts that you can follow when you're calling suppliers. And then here's a huge bonus. When you want to take it to the next level and you've gone through a little bit of the course and you're kind of stuck, and maybe you know that there's something you don't know, but you don't know what it is, I'm giving you get 2 60-minute one-on-one coaching calls with me. Not live webinars. It's you and me on the phone. You can talk to me about anything going on in your business, and I will help coach you through it. And you can see testimonials on my website from some of my coaching students at dealdivawholesale.com -TWF bonus, /TWF bonus. Keyword discovery, you have to have a starting point. And when you're searching on Amazon, where do you start, right? I recommend not starting with the best sellers, at least for me. I want to search for something that maybe not everybody else in the universe is searching for. So I've got a couple of webinars where I talk about how to discover fanatical niche markets and research for those. How to use wholesale products to create bundles. I know Dan and Eric do not create bundles. I do. I love it. I'm pretty good at it. It's kind of like a poor man's private label. And we'll do a webinar where I'll show you the basics of creating a bundle. How to prevent suspension webinar. Boy, the whole idea is to have a clean account to make sure that you're doing what you need to do before you get considered for a suspension, not wait till you get suspended and then you have to go out and find a way to solve the problem. I believe you should have follow the rules and create a clean account. So we're going to have a webinar on preventing suspension. And then how to profit from brand restrictions. I think the brand restrictions are a good thing. I actually interviewed Dan Metters about this last week, and you'll have access to a video on how to profit from the brand restrictions. And how to use wholesale research skills to discover private label products webinar. This is key. If you want to move into developing your own brand and private labeling, if you want to, you don't have to, but if you want to, I'm going to do a webinar showing you how I use what I learned in TWF course to building a private label brand. And then, of course, we're going to have some extra little competitive edge bonuses, how to prepare for Q4. I've got a marketing calendar that gives you a bunch of events that are coming up this year, like movies, movie releases, etc., and TV show releases and full moons and things that you can give you a starting point for ideas for your search on Amazon for new products. And then I have my niche trade show directory. And this trade show directory is, there must be over 3,000 niche trade shows in there that you can dig around on their websites and take a look at their vendor lists to see who's exhibiting there and contact them directly from their website a lot of times. So anyway, you guys know what my bonuses are. You know that we have just about a day before the enrollment closes until next year. I'm going to come back over here and see if we've got any other questions. Again, go to dealdivawholesale.com/TWF bonus up here in the top. and you can click on any link on that page, and that will take you to register for the wholesale formula, and you'll be able to get my bonuses when you do. Let me come back over and see if we have any other questions here. You guys don't have any questions about wholesale? Come on, I want to be stumped. Come on. Okay, so if I've answered, let's see, Richard, listings. Okay, so I guess you don't have any other questions about wholesale myths on Amazon. And hopefully I covered some of the things you've been wondering about. Oh, looks like we got a new question in here. Yay. Richard says, I know the important points of what a good listing must have. Good for you. I can look at a bad listing and tell it's bad. Awesome. Great skill to have. But I know that optimization is a big part of what you must do and offer a brand owner. I believe that that is a very specialized ability that is beyond my ability. Well, first of all, I applaud you for knowing the difference between a good and a bad listing. Being able to identify those elements that can be improved and how is a skill set that's very valuable when you're approaching a brand owner. You don't need to know everything. So I know how to look at my numbers. I know how to look at my income, my expenses, my profit and loss statement, but I don't do my own accounting. I hire that out to somebody who's really good at bookkeeping and accounting, right? So I might know how to identify, like you do, identify a good and a bad listing, but I don't know how to actually, you say you don't know how to actually improve that listing yourself, but I bet you know how to find people who can. So your job as basically a salesperson of your services to a brand owner is your job is to say, look, we can fix what's wrong with your listing. You know, we can bring on people who, based on what your needs are, and then you can just outsource those items because you'll be able to create quality, have quality control on any contractors that you hire because you already know what a good listing is supposed to look like. So you don't need to do it all, guys. And that's the whole idea. In building a business, you don't want to do it all. There's a book out there, E-Myth Revisited. E-Myth Revisited. I can't remember the Michael Gerber, E-Myth Revisited. And it's all about getting people on the bus who are smarter than you and better at something than you, who can do something you can't, and they can't do what you do. My web developer is amazing. I can't do the things he does, nor do I want to try. But I know what a good website design looks like when I see it, right? And then I just have him redo work when I need it redone. I don't have to learn how to do it. So your goal as a business owner is to create that team who can provide that value to the brand owner. That was a really long answer to a good question. Did I answer your question, Richard? Okay. So it looks like there are no more questions. Optimization is a big part of it. Yeah. Okay. Great. I'm glad I could be of service. So if you guys have any questions, hit me up on Facebook. I'm Barbara Drazga. You can go to dealdivawholesale.com/TWF bonus if you want to take a look at my bonuses, or even just go to the website, dealdivawholesale.com, and watch videos I've got up there and read articles on wholesale and just start educating yourself. One way or the other, just start educating yourself. If you are interested in joining the TWF and you're ready to take action, go ahead to that website, click on the Get Access Now link, click on the Enroll Now link. It will take you over to TWF. You can register tonight, get in before the deadline. It closes at 11:59 tomorrow night. Make sure you put a buzzer on your phone to wake you up in case you take a nap accidentally, right? To remind yourself to get in and enroll because they close down until 2018. So now is the time to start to build up your knowledge, your product selection, and your sources to leverage fourth quarter sales. Okay, now's the time. So anyway, I'm in this with you guys. I'm excited to be a part of your journey. If you have any questions, please contact me on Facebook, Barbara Drazga, and I'm happy to help. And I will make this recording available so you can re-watch it. Talk to you guys later. Bye.